Hello, hello! Welcome back to N25 Event Summaries. Feels like we were just here, doesn't it? The VBS and Nigo fans are eating good at the moment. Just back-to-back-to-back focus events. With the second round of World Links underway, that just means more wonderful Nightcord content for us to enjoy. In an Ephemeral Embrace is Nightcord at 25's second World Link, running on the JP server from June 9th through the 21st, 2025. That means if you're watching this video when it goes up, the event is currently ongoing on every other server. Sorry it's a bit late, but the event started on a Tuesday and I always upload on Mondays, so... But World Links run longer than regular events, so there's still a good chunk of time left in the event. As a quick reminder, World Link events are split into individual character chapters, with separate intro and outro episodes. The outro episodes for the second World Links are much longer than the first, so do prepare yourselves for that. Okay, let's see what the Sekai has in store for us this time. To begin our story today, we actually need to go back in time, to a few days before the discussion Kanade had with the Asahina family from the previous event. Kanade has a nice dream about her childhood, a Sunday picnic with her mother and father. But all good things must come to an end, and Kanade wakes up with a heaviness in her chest. Though it's past 1 a.m., no one is logged onto Nightcord. Kanade goes to the Sekai to see if anyone is there. And they are. Everyone is here, even all of the virtual singers. They've gathered around the tree at the lake, which has been covered in black fragments. Everyone is worried about the tree and how the wilting of its leaves is only getting worse, but when Kanade tries to sweep the fragments away, she is pulled into inky darkness. Well, this is going to come as a shock to most of you. Kanade is wearing a school uniform, making breakfast with a cheery voice, and her father is walking around the Yoisaki household. His core personality isn't completely gone, thankfully. He's still a composer that stops at nothing to produce music, but he has a daughter that worries enough for the both of them. Kanade is much more outspoken here, not as dragged down by her past. See? Just look at this! In this universe, Kanade goes to Miya Masuzaka Girls' Academy. She's not overly fond of schoolwork, but tries her best regardless. Her head is still full of composing music. Can't take the passion from her, even in another reality. Kanade's classmates confirm the fact that she's always thinking of new songs, even in the middle of class. But they love how happy her songs are, so none of the people involved are going to discourage her from making more. During afternoon classes, Kanade accidentally runs into Mafuyu, and I do mean literally. Their first meeting is Kanade running face first into Mafuyu, lost in thought. In another life, they could have met this way. Kanade is surprised that Mafuyu knew of her at all, since they're in different classes. She wants to be able to talk to her again. Months pass. Kanade is now a third-year high school student. She's still a bit lonely. She got along well with some people in her class, but she hesitates to call them friends. Luckily, those same two are in her new class for third year, and so is Mafuyu. Just like in the main story, it's a little crushing to hear Mafuyu and Kanade use each other's last names when speaking to each other. Maybe that will change in the coming school year. That night, Kanade is working on a new song. She suddenly hears singing from an unknown place. Robotic, but sweet. Kanade's father enters her room to tell her that dinner is almost ready, and Kanade is shocked by how late it is. Though her father finished work early and didn't want to interrupt Kanade's workflow. It sounds like a happy song anyway. Who would want to interrupt that? Mr. Yoisaki asks his daughter if something good happened. And yeah, maybe if things go well, something good could come out of this new school year. Kanade finished and uploaded that happy song that same night, and her classmates are raving about it the next day at school. Mafuyu gets curious and also asks to listen, much to Kanade's bashful delight. Several emotions flash over Mafuyu's face as she listens, but all she says afterwards is, "It's a good song." Kanade wonders what that reaction could possibly be about. Enna has this sort of sleepy indifference to her. She's still friends with Irie, who is still an idol, but Enna seems more reserved now. When Enna was on the edge of quitting art entirely, it was Irie who pulled her out of that darkness. She fell even further into that mindset than in canon, deeper and deeper, until she'd barely eaten for days and couldn't get out of bed. At this point in the main story, Enna stumbled across Kanade's song and resonated with the pain in the lyrics, thus spurring her forward. But with Kanade posting cheerful, mainstream-type music now, it does nothing to rescue Enna. Irie steps into the position instead. Enna feels terrible about pulling her friend away from her idol work, but Irie obviously would drop everything for Enna, every time. A year later, and Enna has moved to taking day classes at Kamiyama. She talks with her classmates about the lessons and such, commenting on the doodles her friends draw on the margins of their notes. She finds herself articulating the topic of the lesson through a quick drawing, and the others are amazed by her skill. Enna herself is not, of course, but relishes in the praise. Suddenly, her classmates are coming to Enna with requests to help them make illustrations for various school things, like club posters and school newspaper articles. She completes them and briefly contemplates drawing for herself again, but decides against it. It's too late for that sort of thing. Enna also hears mysterious singing coming from somewhere. This time, it's two voices singing in tandem. She comments that it feels nostalgic. Maybe she'll try drawing, just a little. More months pass. Enna is winning art competitions. She's drawing day in and day out, all throughout school and the entire time she's at home. Is she lonely? Maybe, but there are times that everything besides the piece of art she's working on feels empty. She's just used to it at this point. What's the benefit of having someone to talk to? Musique is working at a fashion boutique. She seems to really enjoy it, and is proud that her work is featured as purchasable jewelry. Is it happening? No, dang it. Musique spots Enna looking at the same store displays as themselves as they're walking home, but only comments that she might be able to have a good conversation with someone like that, and doesn't actually end up saying anything. We'll get him next time, my fellow Mizuena fans. Musique is working on sewing a skirt that night, taking breaks to watch a new anime she's been following. While scrolling fandom discussions, Musique notices a song recommendation. But again, since Kanade isn't making her usual style of song, Musique doesn't react to it more than, "That was a pretty song," and moves on to a different one. She follows the trajectory of the main story with this different song, making an MV befitting of the cheerful music. Now that she doesn't have to go to school, she doesn't have to worry about staying up late or getting up early. She's glad that she quit. It's not really explored in the main plotline, but Musique does enjoy fashion and sewing and that sort of thing, if you couldn't already tell. This chapter is illustrating that point. I don't think it's all that necessary to go over the specifics, though. Oh, hello, Rui. I was not expecting to see him here. Musique and Rui run into each other on Musique's way home from a little staff party. They start talking. They don't see each other that much anymore now that Musique's dropped out, and... oh. Wonderland Showtime isn't a thing in this alternate universe either. Rui is studying at Morinomiya Opera Troupe now, though Musique says that things must be going well with Tsukasa and the others, so maybe it's just a slight deviation. Rui asks if Musique plans to come back to school anytime soon, and Musique says no. With all of the rumors and whispers and snide comments she endured back then, her life now is so much better. Getting closely involved with people is just too troublesome. When Musique hears the mysterious song, she hardly even notices how familiar it feels. Mafiu is hanging out with her classmates when she wanders into the boutique Musique works at. They run into each other as employee and customer, their interactions as pleasant and distant as they ought to be. Mafiu and her classmates go to a cafe after that. They get the same pancakes that Enna and Irie had, and Mafiu can taste them. If that's not proof that something is drastically different, I don't know what is. Mafiu's classmates comment that they should invite Yoisaki-san next time. She's always so busy with her music, though. Mafiu looks a little wistful at the thought. It's time to rip off the Mafamon band-aid. Everything looks normal on the surface, and by normal, I mean a regular, functioning family, with no mental health issues to speak of. When her father brings up universities, and Mafiu falters ever so slightly at the mention of medical school, Her mother says her true feelings aloud and supports them. They're taking time to think about what the future could entail for Mafuyu, and if she doesn't want to be a doctor, that's okay. Okay, now I know this is a fake scenario. Kaito is the one who sings for Mafuyu from some unknown corner of the house. Mafuyu invites Kanade out a few days later, after an award ceremony for an archery competition Mafuyu placed in. The two talk about their respective talents and efforts, in which Kanade is jealous of how Mafuyu seems to be so good at everything. Kanade can only make songs, and they're not as good as her father's either. Mafuyu suddenly asks if there's anything that Kanade wants to do besides composing. Anything at all. Kanade thinks, and answers that she's interested in wind instruments. Then she'd also like to improve her writing skills to make better lyrics. And lastly, she'd like to try her hand at drawing, to make the videos that accompany her songs more interesting. Everything always goes back to music with this girl. Mafuyu offers to go with Kanade to try all of these new things, together. Days pass. Kanade and Mafuyu are basically inseparable while they do all of the things Kanade wanted. They even meet Anna and Irie in the park during one of Kanade's art practice sessions. I'm not really sure how they know each other, but they're already using each other's names by the time the scene plays out. Their last names, but still. It seems like Irie and Mafuyu are a little bit closer in this reality. The last stop is the school music room. Mafuyu and Kanade play trumpets together. Kanade thanks Mafuyu for all that she's done for her these past few days, seemingly out of nowhere. It's nothing, really. But is there really a sort of existence in which these two could be friends in this way? Now, these ending chapters are a bit longer than the others, but there's lots more plot to cover. Don't go anywhere just yet. At dinner one night, Mafuyu's father comments on how happy she looks. Mafuyu says it's because she has good friends to keep her company, and they've all been having fun lately. Everyone seemed to be having fun. She's glad. The next day at school, Kanade made Mafuyu a song as a sort of thank you gift for the past week. There's the usual, oh, I can't accept this song and dance, but Mafuyu does eventually give in and listens to the song. She says it's a gentle song. It's good. Kanade immediately apologizes. She's not sure why, but she has this feeling that Mafuyu didn't actually like the song all that much. She'll try making another one. Maybe a new one will be more to Mafuyu's tastes. Mafuyu gets a flashback of Kanade, the real Kanade, in the sekai. Her expression falls as she tries to convince Kanade that she did actually like the song, and that there's no need for her to make another for her sake. Kanade tells her father everything that night. She can't help but feel like it looks sort of painful for Mafuyu. They may not know each other well, but Kanade knows there's something else beneath the surface. She wants that girl to smile. Huh? Why does this feel so familiar? Mr. Yoisaki encourages his daughter to follow her heart. So, despite Mafuyu's wishes, Kanade will try again anyway. While composing that night, Kanade hears the mysterious singing again. She also hears all of the members of Nightcord, and the others in the sekai, and their thoughts on Kanade's music. There's lines from the main story, from early focus events, from Engeki, all about how Kanade's music saved them, how it feels to listen to her songs, and the reason why Kanade made music for them in the first place. Enna is not faring as well as Kanade. She's back in the throes of her struggles with art. Nothing is coming out the way she wants it to, but she has to keep going and going, and yet it all feels so hopeless. Enna suddenly receives a message in a group chat discussing Kei's new song. They all say it's different from her usual work. Enna is hesitant since she didn't really care for the first song of Kei's that she listened to, but decides to click on the URL anyway. The experience is a direct mirror to that of the main story. Kei's song calls out to Enna's feelings of frustration, her bad memories, her pain, and holds it gently in its palms. Following the same path as reality, Enna makes fan art for the song and uploads it online, where it gets noticed by Kei. Enna receives a DM from Kei saying, "Enna-nan, thank you. I'll be waiting in Nightcord." Memories of the past few years flood Enna's mind, and she remembers everything, breaking down into tears with the message pulled up on her computer. No matter where she is, Kanade will always find her, huh? Musique follows a similar path. She doesn't end up making an MV for Kanade's song specifically, but she does make one, and she does stumble across Kei's newest song. As soon as they listen to it, Musique's mind is overcome with memories of her time with Nightcord as well. They only included 4 lines, and 2 of them were Enna's final words in N25, just for maximum heartache. You're welcome. Musique remembers everything now, and smiles at the DM she receives from Kei. How long will this go on? This wonderful dream where everything is perfect, where all of her wishes come true, where she knows it's all fake. Nightcord has been Mafiu's guiding light all this time, and now that she doesn't need it anymore, the emptiness she feels carries a different cadence. Kanade didn't come to school that day, likely composing, Mafiu thinks. Sure enough, Mafiu finds Kanade's newest composition and listens to it. It completely tears her heart in two. Why? Just then, Kanade calls out Mafiu's name and the two finally, truly reunite. It wasn't as hard for Kanade to get here. It seems that commuting to school each day has improved her stamina. So, did she listen to the song? Kanade is sorry it took her so long. The guilt is written all over Mafiu's face. In this dream, Kanade didn't have to follow the same path that she did in reality, but she did anyway. She wanted to make a song for Mafiu truly and genuinely. That won't ever change. Mafiu is glad to have heard her true sound. Well, now that everyone has recovered their memories and Kanade has brought them back together, the members of Nightcord have a group call to figure out the meaning of the reality they've been living for who knows how long. If this is a dream, it's far too realistic, no? Usually when you realize you're in a dream, you wake up pretty soon after, right? But Mafiu doesn't think that's the case. In truth, her memories returned about halfway through this dream. She just didn't say anything because it looked like everyone was having fun. She didn't want to ruin it. But when the clock struck 25 o'clock, and Mafiu's room was silent with the weight of her real memories, that made everything almost too much to bear. How about they work until the morning then? Just like usual. It feels like a lifetime since they were last able to do this. But then, Kanade's father walks into the room. Kanade mutes herself and looks up at her father, awake, walking here with her. She tearily asks if he would be willing to play one of his songs for her. When he agrees, it's all Kanade can do to keep herself together. Kanade is the last to wake up back in the Sekai. The other members of Nightcord stand over her worriedly as Miku calls out to Kanade in her sleep. A deep-seated sadness sits on Kanade's shoulders as she, along with everyone else, discusses what happened. The dream was likely because of the black fragments, lingering feelings of wishes that won't be able to come true. Kanade thinks of her father. But all of the other members are glad to have been connected through Kanade's music once again, and Musique tries her hardest to keep the conversation light. Mafiu wonders if that dream was a one-off thing, but Miku says it'll be okay. Look, the tree is growing. It's absorbing all of the lingering feelings and growing stronger. There's no guarantee that this sort of thing will never happen again, but for now, it seems like everything will be okay. If something like this does happen again, no matter what world it is, past, present, future, Kanade will find them all again. That much is certain. This one was really painful. Just gut punch after gut punch with them. Since Nightcord is the group that is usually Angst City, seeing them all happy but separated is just a new kind of hurt. And knowing Mafiu was conscious for the second half of that totally changes the context behind her chapter. I remember being really nervous for the reveal of this event because of what happened with the second BBS World Link, and was absolutely floored by Kanamafu classmates. They make me so insane, guys. This video is long enough already, so I don't want to bore you with all of my thoughts on the World Link. Maybe I'll put them in a more organized form sometime later. If you're tearing for any of these chapters, good luck! I am fearful of those Mizuena trenches. Rider Destiny wishes future Destiny all the best. Things are going to calm down now for a little bit. Up next is Wishing for a Tomorrow That Won't Come Unraveled. I'll see you then.